So,
Oh, that's the Angel Maker already. Oh, off to a hot start. Distant, Cannibal Corpse. What the fuck is that? Memphis Mayfire, Suicide Silence, Whitechapel. Damn, there's some bangers on here. Oh, Five Finger Death Punch. Ew.
yeah, this is probably like the only like tier list that has like a good balance of bands.
I can see that.
All right, so I guess we're gonna start in order.
So Angel Makers to start.
I guess. I mean that's a band you know, so I'll take your word for it.
Mm, they have good songs. I never go out of my way to play it, but when it plays, it's good.
So C.
So yeah, I would give it a C tier.
All
Because
right.
I'm not going out of my way to listen to Angel Maker.
All right. Next up is Bring Me the Horizon.
Bring Me goes straight to the depths of hell.
All right. So E.T.
It because I would imagine we're talking about their new stuff. If we're talking about the Come Down, yeah, I could give them a B tier. Fuck.
All
Yeah,
right. All right. So
basically.
so I guess let's just take it into consideration like their whole discography.
Okay, if we're talking the first two albums, I'd give them a D tier,
All
but they're
right.
still low because of their new shit.
All right. Next up is Judas Priest. All right.
Judas is all you.
All right.
That's you, my guy.
This is my territory. So Judas Priest has a lot of great songs, a lot of good albums. I would put them in B. Actually, no, yeah, B. I put them in B. Okay, next up is Megadeth.
Watch him become a god.
So, yeah, this it's like I said earlier, this is a band that I really did enjoy a few years ago. I still do enjoy them, but it's like a song every now and then. So, I will put them maybe in C. Okay.
That's fair.
All
They do
right.
have good songs.
All right. And to be fair, oh, Megadeth is better because they know how to do technical guitar playing and blah blah blah. Like, yeah, sure, whatever. Whatever. All right,
Whatever.
next up is Korn. This should be interesting.
Yeah. I really
Honestly,
only know him because of Twist and that meme. That's really it.
this is definitely an unpopular opinion. I actually think this is a band that where their older albums are not great, but their newer albums are.
You definitely don't hear that.
Yeah, like I always hear it's like the first three or four albums for Korn and that's it. But I actually really dig uh the last three, I think. But I would probably still put them in D. Okay,
They
next.
did they did kind of pioneer seven string guitar playing.
Yeah, what good that did. That was
Yeah.
that was a joke. Okay,
Damn.
next up is I actually
What band is that? I don't know that band.
we could probably skip it. Okay, next up is
Shall have a 10 instant S tier.
all right, you're gonna have to explain why.
Ben Dewar's vocal style on just The Heretic Prevails alone warrants at least an A tier. But their guitar work from my boy Chris Wiseman bumps them up another tier.
All right, I'll put it in A.
Mm, yeah.
I'll
Put
put it
it
in.
at an
I'll
A.
put it in
Yeah.
A. Okay, next up is I actually don't know what band this is. I can't zoom in. We'll leave it there. Okay, next up, same thing. I don't know what band that is. Okay, next up is
Godsmack.
Godsmack. This is an interesting one. On one hand,
I don't mind their new stuff.
I honestly don't mind the band as a whole. I think that
Hmm.
this is a band that kind of gets hate for no reason. I mean, it is just another 2000s band that broke out because of like a few songs and that's it. That's really all they got. But their other stuff is fine.
The only song I actually hate is I Stand Alone because that's the song you hear from them everywhere.
Yeah. So I would maybe put them in C.
I won't argue that.
Okay, next up is Mudvayne. So this is
Burper ding, burper ding.
yeah, it's kind of a pioneer of new metal, which is fine. I think that the band itself is fine, is good.
Not bad.
It's I would maybe
I
put.
would just never go out of my way to listen to them.
Yeah, I kind of feel the same way. I'd probably put it in C tier as well.
That works.
Okay, next up
Of
is
sulfur.
Sulfur.
It's of sulfur.
Now,
Uh, they're all right. Ricky's vocals aren't my favorite. He kind of sounds like he's slobbering and drooling everywhere. I mean, I guess if you like black metal, that's your thing. It's like it's like deathcore and black metal had a baby, but it's an ugly baby because it's mostly black metal.
so D tier.
But they have a couple good songs. Their new album isn't bad. Behind the Hand of God is a decent song, so I would give it a C tier because they were also cool to see in concert.
That's reasonable. Next up is North Lane. I actually,
I think North put Northlane straight to S tier because of Quantum Flux. That album is an absolute masterpiece for modern metalcore.
all right, so A.
You motherfucker.
Okay,
Nothing goes to S tier until Metallica.
no, no, no. The only reason I'm putting it in A is because I haven't actually listened to these bands that much.
Fair enough.
That's the
Fuck
only
you,
reason.
Bush.
Yeah. All right. Next up is Def Leppard. So, all right.
That's your territory too.
I'm not gonna be biased here, but this was pretty much the first major rock band that I listened to, and I like listened to like multiple albums and songs. Now, growing up, I will admit it's kind of they are very cheesy. It's another cheesy 80s band, but I think they do have really good songs. So I would maybe put them at least in B, maybe.
That works.
All right. Next up is Motley Crue. We're just gonna put them in D. Just
Get out of the way.
yeah. This is a band that I really did like at one part, and they, to be fair, they do have really good hits, but I just really don't like them anymore.
Yeah.
I can't force myself to listen to them. All right, next up we have System of a Down. Now this should be interesting.
I I I think Toxicity is their only good album.
Yeah, I would say I don't want to call them overrated,
But they're
but
overrated.
I mean, yeah, it's just like when you ask someone what their favorite modern or like just their favorite metal band in general, like you're more than likely going to hear System of a Down, and that's not a bad thing. But it's just when I try listening to them, I'm just like, what the fuck do people see in this band?
Yeah, they're nothing crazy. Like I think like Chop Suey and Ten Toxicity itself are like like the two good songs.
Yeah, I'm just gonna put it in D.
I yeah, I wouldn't go higher than that because I'm not going out of my way to look for them. All right, S tier, so we can move on. Oh, this
No, no,
motherfucker,
no, no,
this
no,
motherfucker
no.
moved it down. He has to go on a 45-minute rant before he puts them on the
No,
list.
no. Hey, I'm actually trying to sort it to bands that we know, so we're actually good for a little bit, I think. Okay, next
Lorna's
up.
next. Let's go.
So next up is Linkin Park. So again, this is controversial, but I only really liked Linkin Park because of Chester, and that's it. That's the only.
Everyone really only likes Linkin Park because of Chester.
So I would maybe put them in C tier at least because of
They
Chester.
can't go. They can't go lower than that because of Chester.
Yeah, I would put them in B if they just had more songs I cared about.
But they put like too much rap. They're new metal, but they're mostly rap.
Yeah,
They rap a lot.
like the songs where they just stick to rock and hard rock, and then like
Are good.
you hear Chester screaming, like, yeah, that's great.
Those are
But
good songs.
like Guilty All the Same, it's actually a really great song until the raps kicks in. I'm just like, okay, never
Yeah,
mind, you lost me.
that is. Yep. I agree.
All right, so next up, here you go.
Lorna Shore.
Go ahead.
Oh, we know how I feel about Lorna Shore.
All right, so F tier.
Is this dick?
All right, here.
First deathcore band seen in concert. First fucking tattooed with their fucking "And I Return to Nothingness" EP logo. Fucking got a birthday video from Will.
All right, here.
I think AT is warranted.
Here, just for you, I will put it in S tier.
Yay.
All right, next up we have Airborne. So this band is basically a modern version of AC/DC, whereas all of their songs sound pretty much the same, which isn't a bad thing. That's a lot of metal, honestly. If we're
It works if you find a sound.
Yeah, exactly. And they were on Cobra Kai's soundtrack, and I love that show. It's a great show, great songs, but I would probably just put them in D. I'll put them above Bring Me the Horizon.
Yeah.
We'll put System of a Down. Okay, next up is Fit for a King. Hmm.
They're actually not bad. I haven't heard a whole lot of their stuff, but their new stuff is good. I put a couple of their new songs on my story post before.
Okay, so
Um,
so we'll put it in C.
yeah, we'll put it in see. They're not bad if you ever get a chance to listen to them. They're pretty. They're like decent metalcore.
Very glad I clipped that. Okay, next up. Oh boy.
Oh no.
Oh boy. All right.
Uh-oh.
Next up is Avenged Sevenfold. Oh boy. So
Now
this,
are we ignoring the new song?
no, we're not. Okay. In my opinion, Waking the Fallen, uh, Nightmare, and City of Evil. Those are like, well, and maybe the stage. Maybe. It's really just
No,
it's really
I
just for
would just
it's really just for the title track if I'm being honest.
yeah.
So those three albums, maybe you can throw in the self-titled, I guess, maybe. But
Yeah.
overall,
I mean, Waking the Fallen kind of pioneered the fucking the 578 metalcore.
yeah, so I think that just for that alone, I would put them maybe in C at least, but the band as a whole, I just don't like. It's
They
just
have good songs, but like I mean, shit, with the route they're going, they might take a plunge to the F tier. They've
yeah.
only released one fucking song.
Oh, they've released two. Remember? They released
Oh
Angel.
yeah, they did. Oh, I tried to forget about that.
All right, so yeah, here, how about this? Just for that, we'll put it in D tier
Yep,
because I won't.
works.
I never go out of my way to listen to them.
No, me neither.
Okay, next up is Bullet for My Valentine. So, just like with Def Leppard, I'm going to try not to be biased, but
They're
I,
good though.
yeah, I do think they are great. Are they perfect? No, obviously not.
No
Gravity,
bad news.
Gravity really weighs it down, and Temper is not really a great album either. I would actually make the argument it's probably worse and more forgettable than Gravity. It was like their attempt at being hard rock for radio crowds. It just really didn't work.
Their attempt to try and mainstream themselves.
But every other album is a banger, so I think A tier is fair.
I agree. We'll take that.
Okay, next up is Deftones. This is a band I don't care about. I'm just
I
gonna
don't
be
like that. I don't like Deftones, so I would just get it out of the way.
all right. I'll put it in D tier.
Big Diamond Die is just the only decent song.
All right, next up is Bleed from Within. Hmm.
I know literally one song, and it's a good song.
All right, so D tier.
Yeah, literally only know one song.
Oh boy, here we go. Breaking Benjamin. Go for it.
Easily top five rock band.
Okay, so where do you?
Now this was the first band I saw in concert. I don't like their Aurora album because they hyped up a new album release for it to only be acoustics of their most popular songs with one other song that was sad.
Damn,
But
that's kind of fucked up.
yeah, exactly. But Ember is a good album. Fuck, it's been a while since I've listened to them. I forgot their album names.
Uh, Dear Agony.
Yeah, Dear Agony and Phobia.
All right,
Those
so you think
those are good albums.
A tier?
I think A tier is good.
All right.
I'll be happy with A tier for them.
Okay, next up is Betraying the Martyrs. I've never heard of this band.
Me neither.
All right, so we'll skip it.
Yeah.
Next up is Disturbed.
Oh, the dad rock band.
I I mean, it's kind of like so with Airborne, I basically made the argument that it was the modern day version of AC/DC where every song sounded the same. So I kind of have to apply the same thing for Disturbed, but
Yeah.
As far as Disturbed goes, I can count with 3 fingers the amount of songs I actually like from them, and they're not even that great, honestly.
Yeah,
So I think bottom of D tier at least.
yeah, for sure.
Next up is Rage Against the Machine, our first fuck this band, because
Literally, yeah, literally.
I,
Sounds
d-
like a funny. Sounds like a toddler trying to rap.
I just don't care about them. They have one good song, and it's unfortunately Killing in the Name of, which is also one of the most overrated songs ever made.
Yeah.
So yeah, nothing more to say.
Nope.
Next up is Distant. Uh,
Uh,
I'll leave this one to you.
I mean, I would say that Heritage is their only good song. Well, that's biased because it's because Will's the feature on it. If I had if I had to give them their song, it's literally a single. It's one song that they made that's actually good.
So D.
I would say that.
All right, next up is Electric Callboy. I have no idea what the fuck this band is.
This is literally a German techno metal band. They are the most fucking fun band to listen to.
Okay, so you would put them.
They have songs that are super happy and upbeat and techno about love. And then somebody will just come out of nowhere and fucking start screaming metalcore riffs and chugs and double bass. Fucking B.
So
Go B for them.
B.
Once you listen to them, you might actually like it because they're fun. They're a fun band.
All right, next up is 3 Days Grace, one of the most influential 2000s bands ever, but arguably they only have one good album. Maybe
Uh,
two.
no,
Maybe I would say
no,
the
I would say one. Break as an album is great, but like
I was actually gonna say 1X just because that's like the most recognizable one.
actually what I meant too. That's my bad. Yeah, that I mean shit. You know how many songs I fucking I don't listen to them very often.
Yeah,
It's literally
I
it's
do
what the fuck is it?
I do think their modern songs get heavily criticized for obvious reasons, and I do think that's unfair, but at the same time, it's just like it's never going to sit right when you replace the original vocalist.
No, especially when they kicked him out for going to rehab.
Yeah. So I think C tier is fair.
C tier works. The Animal I Have Become Riot and Never Too Late are like the only songs I actually go out of my way to listen to.
All right, next up we've got All That Remains. So this 2 weeks. That's like the only song I care about by them, and it's really not even that great of a song anyway.
I I will give him the whole Fall of Ideals album.
Okay, so we're
That
thinking.
album is great.
So we're
Just Calling, Six, They Are Breathe, Become the Catalyst.
so we're
Those are all good songs.
so we're thinking C tier for this band.
Yeah, I would go to C tier. You like one song, I like one album. I mean, it kind of works.
Now, to be fair, there's only so many bands I can listen to, so that's on me. All right, next
Mended? I
up.
have no idea.
All right, next up is Anthrax. Oh man.
That I don't know, so that's all you.
So this is kind of like Korn. This is an argument I would make that the modern Anthrax albums are much better than the classic ones because in the 80s, obviously you had to try to stand out because 80s were stacked. You know, you had Metallica, Slayer, Megadeth, and then for some reason Anthrax was labeled as part of the big four of thrash metal when they really didn't innovate that much or made themselves stand out that much.
We.
So I think applying the same logic to Korn, I would put this in D tier. And they also made that awful song, Bring on the Noise. I fucking hate that song. So
Yeah.
we'll put it with Korn. I think that's reasonable. Next up is
Yeah, fair.
Drowning Pool.
Bodies. That's it.
Yeah, I hate to
That's
say
it.
it. I hate to say it, but yeah, it's really just bodies. D
It
tier.
is a good song, but that's the only good song.
Okay, next up is
Trivium.
Trivium. I love Trivium. That's all I gotta say. I mean, really, it's hard to make a list ranking their albums because every album is good in its own way. Especially the last three with Alex Bent on drums. Like, dear God, like that's all the band needed. I
Actually, my favorite albums are Ascendancy and Waves and Vengeance Falls.
yeah,
I actually don't. Me personally, don't think they necessarily benefited from just Alex Bent.
yeah. No, I fully agree with that. I
He
think
was a he was a better drummer, but I like their older albums better.
no, I would say my top three Trivium albums would be Shogun, Ascendancy, and then maybe What the Dead Men Say. Maybe. It's really hard to do that to do that kind of list.
I mean, I tried to get into In the Court of the Dragon, but I just don't like I just don't like their new stuff.
Fair enough. Fair enough. All right. Well, I would say at least for
They don't go below a C tier though.
I would put them in
And
A.
C tier is like the very bottom of the piss bowl. That's low for Trivium. But yeah, I think A is good.
Yeah, like I said, I love every single album has something on it. Even
There's at least one song that's good on every album that they put out.
like even their worst album, I would say is what was it called? Silence in the Snow. Like that was like their experimental album, but even that album is fine. Like it's good.
Yeah.
Okay, next up is Evanescence.
Do we even want to talk about Evanescence? It's literally just Bring Me to Life. That's it.
Just D. It's fine. Next up
C.
is Falling in Reverse.
They're too emo for me. Their new stuff is alright, but there's too much emo, and there's too much rap on their new stuff. That's all I gotta say.
So fuck this.
Yeah, I
Next
can think of two songs.
next up is Darko. I've never heard of this band, so
That is Tom Barber from Chelsea Grin's side project, and they release nothing but absolute bangers. Insects is a good album. What's the name of that new one? They made a two-part album. Let's see, what's the name of it? Death Mask Part One and Two. Those are all fire. So far, every song I've heard from Darko has been a banger, and I'm just a simp for Tom Barber, so I'd give it at least a B tier.
yeah, all right. I'll put it in B. Okay, next up, I can't read that logo. All right.
I can either.
All right,
We'll
next
see that.
up is Cannibal Corpse. Oh boy.
The Deathcore Pioneers.
Yeah, it is. It's definitely one of them. It's like top four at least for most influential metal like deathcore bands. That being said, it's just not for me. It's just not for me. I mean, I still appreciate their existence and their influence, but it's just not for me. I would put them at least in C.
I would too. I love Tomb of the Mutilated and Violence Unimagined. Literally one of their oldest albums and their newest album are my two favorites.
All right, I'll put them in C. Okay,
That works.
next up is Ginger. So this is a band that I showed you that you didn't really like, but
Yeah.
I liked. Now, I'm not a simp for them, so I'm not going to be biased or anything.
Yeah.
I like their prog influence. I really like Tatiana as a vocalist. She's really cool. That being said, I still don't go out of my way to listen to them, so I would put them at least in C.
That works. I don't know much about him, like you said.
All
I'm not a
right.
fan.
Next up is Amon Amarth, the band that actually lost a best metal performance to Ghost recently, and that hurts.
Well, that doesn't mean anything.
I know,
That
but
just means there's too many new heads in metal that think Ghost is the greatest band ever.
I know. Now, this is a gimmick band. It's Viking metal. It's just stupid, but it's fun. It's
They make me feel like I can slay when I play their stuff.
exactly. So I would put them at least in B.
Yeah, they're really fun to listen to. I can't name any songs, but damn, are they fun to listen to.
Twilight of the Thunder God, Raven's Flight. I mean, if I had a cheat sheet,
It's literally power metal with fucking like it's power metal with power metal names.
exactly.
What I'd literally power metal power metal song titles. There you go. That's what I was trying to say.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, Limp Bizkit. We don't even need to say this.
We don't even need to talk about it.
All right, next up is Chelsea Green.
Chelsea, yeah, Chelsea Grin. If we're talking about, I think Suffer in Hell and Suffer in Heaven are two great albums. They kind of coincide with each other. However, if we take into apart Alex, their old vocalist, and the stuff that he put out, I'm kind of torn.
Well, so far we have been pretty fair in trying to get everything, like every album's input. So I would say we would be counting that.
Alex's vocal style isn't bad. He's a decent screamer, but on every song he cups the mic, so you can't hear him saying anything. It's just that's all the vocals on his song, and Tom on their stuff that he's trying to put out, he's going more of the death metal vocal route. So he's pronouncing his words a little more. You can actually hear what he's saying. The songs have meaning. They're not about killing someone you're having sex with. Kruger banger.
Yeah. So I would okay.
Oh,
So from what you've said, I would put this in C.
that's where I would have put him too. I would put him above of Sulfur though.
All right, that's fair. Yeah, I mean, honestly, the order doesn't really matter. I mean,
Yeah.
okay, next up is Iron Maiden, one of the pioneers of 80s metal, and they were still good in the 90s, but they did kind of fall off a little bit. They kind of came back in the 2000s, and now they're just, one of the more old guard metal bands. I mean,
Yeah.
it's hard to find a bad Maiden album. Songs, it's not that challenging. There are probably some you could find if you really looked for it. That being said, I would put them in A.
That
just
works.
just above Judas Priest. Now the only reason I would put maybe Priest and Maiden together, but I just know more Maiden songs,
Yeah.
so that's my fault. Okay, next up is
Oh.
Memphis Mayfire.
Hmm.
I
I don't know where to put them because I like their old stuff like Vices and oh Lord. I could always talk about music until you make a tier list.
Yeah,
But
that's how it goes.
if we're going out after going off of their new album, they kind of became bitch baby metalcore for radio. And of course that's their
So
most popular stuff, but Challenger and The Hollow are both great albums. But if we take into take into consideration Remade and Misery, it just sounds like radio rock.
hmm,
Which isn't bad. He still screams. Like
so D tier.
I would go D, yeah. The only songs I go out of my way to listen to are The Sinner and Vices. Other than that, I'll just let them play if I hear a song because they are catchy, but
Yeah.
not necessarily good.
Understandable. Okay, next up is Motorhead. Basically, one of the pioneers for speed metal. They popularized the use of double bass, so we can thank them for that. And yeah, again, it's more of a hard rock metal version of AC/DC where a lot of the songs sound exactly the same, but because it's Lemmy, I'm a little bit more biased. I love him as a vocalist. He's a great bassist. And yeah, Motorhead is a vibe.
Hey, that works.
I would put them at least in B, just to be fair.
Just to be fair,
Okay, Black Sabbath, immediate S tier. I
I mean right. Lorna Shore and Black Sabbath, the
yeah,
duality there.
yeah. I'll fix this order soon, but yeah, Black Sabbath. I mean, there's really nothing to say. They invented. Now, you could make the argument that maybe Led Zeppelin kind of invented metal, but nah, I don't consider that true. Black Sabbath popularized it, they made it cool, and they still have like a pretty cool history, like Ozzy leaving and then Ronnie James Dio coming in, and that's where he took off after leaving Rainbow, and then Ozzy came back for 2013. So yeah, really good band, great discography, nothing else to say. Moving on.
Yep.
Next up is Infant Annihilator.
This is this one me again.
Yeah. The duality
Uh,
of
yeah,
metalheads.
I had to look up the album names because I never remember them because of how fucking long their names are.
Yeah,
But the palpable leprosy of pollution and the battle of Yaldabaoth. Two great albums.
just for that, I'd put it in S. No, I'm just
There's
kidding.
also Elysian Grand Devil Galararch. It has Soil the Stillborn, Rape of Sirens, Cunt Crusher, Child Chewer. All good songs in terms of deathcore. Gotta love the
Hmm.
names too. And Dickie Allen pioneered the goblin vocal that Will has used so much. So we kind of have to give my boy Dickie Allen the
So,
representation.
so B.
I'll put him B. Yeah, yeah, B. Lorna's better because they're more instrumental. The songs have more meaning. They're less gory.
Yeah,
I mean, come on, Rape of Sirens and Child Chewer, Cunt Crusher. You kind of know what you're getting from the song titles.
yeah,
But Lorna Shore with the Pain Remains trilogy, that alone, there's already emotion in them three songs.
yeah. Okay, next up we have Pantera. Oh man, this is sad to talk about, especially because both the Abbott brothers are dead. Okay, so Pantera has five amazing albums. It's easy to forget that they started out as a hair metal band, but those albums are actually pretty cool too. Um, I mean, nothing really to say, honestly. Dime is one of the greatest guitar players ever. Vinny's a great drummer. Rex is a great bassist. Phil's just kind of there.
Yeah,
He's just kind of there as a
it's
vocalist,
kind of there.
but Great Southern Trendkill, I mean, that was like a really good vocal album for him. So
They
I
went drop G on them guitars too.
yeah,
So
so
like, hey,
and it's just
I
such
I give them props for that.
it's just such a shame that more couldn't have been recorded and published. But anyways, yeah, I'll put him in A. Okay, next. Now, I mean, honestly, if it was up to me, I would put a lot of these bands in S tier, but I am really trying not to be biased.
Put
Okay.
Lorna right up there. What do you mean?
Yeah, because I was being nice, but here, I'm gonna do this. All right,
This
next up
guy.
is Papa Roach.
Do we even have to talk about him?
Fuck this band. Just fuck
No.
it. Fuck it. I don't care about fucking Last Resort. I think that's one of the most overrated songs. It's not fun to listen to for me. To Be Loved is like I only know that song because it was a theme song for Monday Night Raw, and whatever. Oh,
Oh, yeah.
nostalgia, but I still
Yeah.
just don't care about them.
It means nothing with Paparazzi.
Exactly. Okay, next up is
Landmarks.
Landmarks.
They have two good songs, Empty Place and Death. Other than that, it just sounds like Knock Loose light to me.
D.
So, and we know how we feel about Knock Loose.
I would put him in F. So
Yeah.
we'll put him in D for now.
They have two good songs, Knock Loose doesn't have any, so they don't have to go to F for that.
Yeah. Okay, next up is Wage War. I don't really think we need to discuss this one.
Wage War is great.
I would put him
It's absolutely great.
I would put him either in A or B.
A, 100%, 100% A. B is too low.
All right, I'll put him in A. All right, next
Circle,
up,
Circle the Drain, great album. The River, great album. Like, nut.
yeah,
Anyway,
even though I haven't listened to like all of their songs because I don't have that much time on my hands, I still really do like what I have heard.
do explore more, because there is no bad song. Fucking Stitch, I like fucking The River, Circle the Drain, Mank, Teeth. Oh, all good. All great.
Okay, next up is I don't know this band honestly.
That's Rammstein.
Um,
F tier. F tier. F tier. Please.
yeah, I don't want to do this, but yeah,
I'm sorry. I'm
F
sorry,
tier.
Rammstein.
Yeah, I
What the
mean,
fuck is that?
this is Rob Zombie. This is an
Damn.
interesting one. So if we're not counting Dragula, I mean it's just Rob Zombie. Like it's just kind of an artist who's there. Like I,
Nothing super crazy. No, like nothing being pioneered. It's just Rob Zombie.
but that being said, I would still say this is like at least a D tier because John Five is a really great guitarist, and I actually really dig what was the song? King Freak, whatever that song was. It's really
Uh,
really cool, like modern uh, Rob Zombie song. So I'll put it in D at least.
Sure.
Oh,
I know what band the bottom left is now. The one that we have on right, that fucking circle on the
Oh,
left, all the way to left.
this one?
That one, yeah, that's Parkway Drive.
Ah, I ooh, I
I give them Carry On and Wild Eyes. That's like the only two songs I give them.
I'll put him in D.
Yeah.
I liked Kronos and Dying to Believe, and I think I really did like a Deathless song. So
I
those are
saw
my
them in
three.
concert. They weren't bad. It's just like not my thing to go out of I'm out of my way to listen to. Winston's a good vocalist. He got a lot of he was interacting with the crowd a lot.
Yeah.
Was paying attention to what was going on out there. I mean,
Yes.
overall he's a good front man, and they're a good band. They're just not my thing.
Yeah. I kind of wish Gojira was on this list because I would put them in A because and they're also a really great live band.
Yeah.
But anyways,
Do we have to talk about Five Finger Death Punch?
ah man. All right. The only thing I will say is that I like their cover of Gone Away. I actually think it's more fitting because it's like supposed to be a depressing song. Like the original by The Offspring is just kind of like cheery pop punk.
Yeah.
And
I mean, they don't even have bad songs. Like they're not bad musically. Like
I think that Lift Me Up is probably the only song that I like, but that's really just because of Ralph Halford being a guest vocalist. And even that song is not his
hey,
best.
I liked the guitar work on that song.
Yeah, so
Them riffs were punchy.
that being said, it's between D and F because I still just don't.
They have decent songs. I mean, I don't think an F is warranted for them. Like even though they get a lot of shit,
Yeah,
and most of that shit is warranted.
it's kind of like when we're discussing Nickelback. It's like I feel like Nickelback got a lot of unjust criticism for being.
Musically, Nickelback is okay.
It's
So is
just
Five Finger Death Punch.
it's just like music you can vibe to, but it's not anything you would go out of your way to listen to.
I mean, just look at Ivan Moody, the vocalist for Five Finger Death Punch, and Vanilla Ice next to each other. You can't tell who looks more of a dude, who looks like more of a douchebag
Yeah.
if they're side by side.
Well,
And
and
if you can't decide who looks more of a douchebag between you and Vanilla Ice, you're a fucking douchebag.
well, and it's also kind of funny how they're canceling a lot of their tours with Metallica, and they're actually getting replaced with better bands, and people are just like, okay, why is Five Finger Death Punch even on this tour? Like, let's just keep them off. Like, we're getting better bands.
Yeah.
So, all right. Anyways, Slipknot. Oh man. So, oh, if you would have asked me this, if we would have done this video like 3 years ago, I would have put them in A without any explanation, at least. But now there's a lot more context that we needed to talk
I mean,
about.
like how we were talking about earlier. Like
Yeah.
I just feel like they've dropped off since Joey died.
Yeah. I think that All Hope Is
Well, I mean,
Gone.
they kicked him out. Like even earlier than that. But it's like they changed it again since he died.
Well, I also think that people unjustly criticize All Hope Is Gone and say that was when they dropped off, but Joey's still on that album and it's fucking
Yeah,
great.
it's great.
And
It's
it's
absolutely great.
and Paul Gray, I think his name was, the bassist, like
Hmm.
he was on that album. He was great even if you
He
can't
was
really
still
hear him.
alive. Yeah.
So like it was really the last album that truly felt like Slipknot, whereas Gray Chapter, that's like okay, we have two new members. It's a little different. Now I actually like Gray Chapter, but it's just it's just an album to me. We Are Not Your
Yeah.
Kind is fine. It's fine. And then the new album, I really just don't like. It's just really not a good
Yeah.
album. So it's kind of a situation where we have to judge the first four albums mostly. I think the first four are fine. I don't know, it's just because I've gotten older and I've maybe just grown out of them a little bit, but
I still think Iowa as a whole album is absolutely great.
yeah, I agree.
There's still no song on Iowa that I don't like.
I agree. Every song serves its purpose. I actually think the self-titled debut is a little overrated, but I still think it's fine.
I like Sick and Eyeless.
Yeah.
Those are the two songs I'll give the self-titled.
The subliminal verses, that's when they went a little bit more radio friendly with Duality and Before I Forget, but I still think there's some good deep cuts on the album. And then All Hope Is Gone. I mean, I honestly think pretty much every song is fine,
Yeah, I agree.
especially the opening track.
Yeah.
All right. So I think with that being said, I will put them in C.
I think that's fair.
Just
Just,
middle of the
just
ground.
like middle of the ground because they were good, and they're kind of dropping off, but they still
And
have good songs.
yeah, and I mean honestly this is just like a personal thing, but I really just don't listen to them anymore just cuz I don't really have a reason to. Like back in high school, like they were like one of the bands that got me through a lot of days, but now it's just like eh.
Yeah, now it's just eh.
So next we have After the Burial. Pretty decent band overall, I would say.
I I personally think even though they got Dig Deep and Evergreen, the fucking wink at the wow with the wink like
Yeah.
that. I think Rare Form and Wolves Within are still their two best albums, and they dropped off after Justin killed himself. Justin was their old guitarist.
Yeah.
He was on both of those aforementioned albums, and I just personally think that I mean, not having him changed the band a little too much.
Yeah. So I think it's kind of a Slipknot situation. We have to we'll probably have to put this in
Like,
C.
yeah, I like their older albums. Like I liked Wolves Within. What the fuck was the name of the first one? Rare Form, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, those two. But then again, then you have Behold the Crown. Like
Yeah.
that's one of the new songs I saw him fucks.
Yeah. I love that song. Just that intro, like
It's literally just pinch harmonics and shit. Like damn.
yeah, it's great. It's a great song.
It is. It is.
So yeah, I say C
I
tier to
think
be
C
fair.
works because they got good stuff and they got bad stuff, just like Slipknot.
Okay, next up is Paleface, I think.
Paleface.
Never heard of them.
Oh, so Paleface is kind of like Slipknot. It's a Swiss band and their vocalist sounds just like Corey.
Hmm.
If you listen to I think Fear and Dagger is the album. The song The Orphan and Death Touch. Both of those songs are great.
Oh, that's
And their
funny.
vocalist,
That's funny because Slipknot has a song called Orphan.
yep. But if I'm not mistaken, I think I'm probably mistaken. But yeah, he sounds just like Corey. It's kind of scary.
So basically, we can rank them the same as Slipknot in C.
Technically, they are kind of similar. I just think Paleface is more fun to listen to than Slipknot, in my opinion.
Okay, so we'll put them at like the top of C for now.
Yeah,
For now.
for now, that
Okay, next
works.
up is Suicide Silence. This should be interesting.
I mean,
The stage is yours, my friend.
uh, they're, bro, fuck. No, the cleansing, no time to bleed, the Black Crown. That's their first three albums is where they peaked,
Hmm.
and of course they lose. Well, of course they lose Mitch
Yeah.
and get the vocalist from All Shall Perish. I'm pretty sure. And it kind of changed the band a little too much in a way I didn't like.
Mm.
Their new vocalist High Screams are better because that's what he did with All Shall Perish. All he did was High Screams. But
Yeah.
to me, it's just not Suicide Silence anymore. But I only listened to three albums, so if we're going that, I would give him an A tier. But including everything else, I would think C. To be honest, it's another Slipknot situation,
Okay.
just with deathcore instead.
All right. Next, we have, in my opinion, one of the most overrated bands ever, Slayer. I.
Raining Blood gets praised so much. That song is awful. I'm
God.
sorry. That song is awful.
I have to agree, honestly. I really don't like it. Honestly, if it was just an instrumental, I feel like that would have gone a long way in helping it and maybe just like smoothing out some of the issues I have with that song. The actual album is fine, I guess. It's really just for Angel of Death, though, for being honest.
Yeah, basically.
South of Heaven and Seasons in the Abyss are better, in my opinion. I think honestly Slayer is more interesting when they do slower or mid-tempo songs. They're just not interesting to me when they just play fast, which is really funny because You would think
Yeah.
it's the opposite.
Yeah.
Um, but honestly, like I said, this is just one of the most overrated bands in my opinion. I wasn't sad when they retired. I'm actually glad they've stayed retired for now.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna put
I
them in
agree.
D.
That
So
works.
next up we have Whitechapel.
A
Hmm.
band that I feel like got too much unwarranted hate when they made Kin and Phil decided to start putting in some clean vocals.
Hmm.
This is Exile, they're self-titled, and Our Endless War are still, I think, their best albums. That was when they were still deathcore.
Hmm.
But Kin, Phil doing clean vocals, like he makes it work
Hmm.
in a way that
So.
people usually wouldn't think that clean vocals and like deathcore stuff would. But they kind of mellowed down. They're not deathcore anymore.
Hmm.
So they
So
kind of mellowed down. It sounds good. I still like it.
I'm thinking B tier.
Yeah, I think B works because their deathcore stuff is great, and Phil is not a bad singer as well as a screamer. So I think yeah, B's warranted.
All right. And
All right,
now.
all right, stage is yours. We got the popcorn.
All right. So I'm not gonna be here all night because I am very fucking tired and I would love to go to bed. I mean, I would like to try to find another tier list at least and maybe bookmark it.
Yeah.
But what can I really say about my favorite band ever? I mean, this band has gotten me through so many hard times. I was legit so fucking excited to hear 72 Seasons, and I haven't. I honestly was not disappointed with it. I know a lot of people hated the album or disliked it, but I feel like those same people just really got their expectations up way too high. So that's their own damn fault.
They're expecting. I mean, they're expecting 50, 60-year-old dudes to perform like they were in their 20s still.
Yeah, back when they were like back when Lars was on fucking coke. Like that's one of the reasons And Justice for All is a goated album. It's because of Lars's drumming and most of the time,
He's coked out of his mind.
yeah, like that's why Dyer's Eve is so fucking fast at like the closing track for And Justice for All. It is such a great song, but it's also the song that they never perform live because it's so fucking fast. Like and it's a
They
lot
can't.
of double bass.
Lars has to coke up again to play it.
Yeah, but anyways, like I get why people dislike Metallica. They have the Black Album, fine, whatever. They went mainstream, okay, whatever. They made money. I think that honestly, Load and Reload probably got more of a negative press because that's when they cut their hair, that's when they tried to be more edgy, and I get that. That's fine. I still think the albums are great. Now, Saint Anger, that's another story. I think it's still fine. It's just not great. It's definitely their worst. And
Me
Lulu,
personally, like, oh no, we don't talk about that.
yeah, I don't consider that an album. That's
I
more of an
mean,
experiment.
just me and my limited experience with Metallica, I just feel like they changed too much. That's why they get hate.
I get that. I
You
mean,
know,
first four
they were
albums
they were
are,
thrashed and they went hard rock, then they sold out into the Black Album, and they came back, Load and Reload, they kind of went all over the place, and people didn't like that very much. Like they were thrash, and then they mellowed down for the Black Album, and they lost most of their, thrash metal following. And
yeah,
then they kind of started coming back to their metal roots. Then they lost the people they gained from doing the Black Album.
yeah. So it's kind of a mixed bag overall. I think the first four albums are goated. I mean, that's like probably the best, arguably one of the best four album stretches in metal ever, in my opinion. It's like one of it. I wouldn't say it's the best, but it's one of the best. It's at least one of the most important. Black Album. I mean, I do like it. I like the Black Album. I do, but I'm not gonna pretend it's the best. Load and Reload, they're fine. They're good experiments. I do like diversity in music, and I think they're fine. They're good experiments, but I am really glad that they didn't stick with it. Saint Anger, it was another experiment. I think that if the production was better, it would have been hailed or like received better because there are some really good riffs, and I think that Lars actually drums really well. It's just hidden underneath the fucking trash can.
Yeah.
Death Magnetic was a great comeback to the thrash metal roots. 10 songs, all of them are great. just kind of has really bad production again, which is really unfortunate. And then Hardwired and 72 Seasons are pretty much the modern versions of Load and Reload, but with that thrash edge that really just makes it stand out. So if I had to like rank all the albums based on personal preference, that would be like a whole other video. But
Yeah.
judging just based on everything I've said without trying to sound too biased, I think it's fair to put them at least in A.
Yeah. Yeah, that's all you. I don't listen to enough Metallica to make any. I can nitpick some stuff, and I have
Now
say a
there,
couple things, but
now there will be a day where I will force you to. But yeah, so overall, this is a pretty decent list. I mean, like I said, if I had my way, I would put Metallica, Bullet, Trivium, Iron Maiden, all these other bands in S, but I really wanted to be fair. I think Black Sabbath deserves S, and A looks good, B looks good, C, D, and yeah, just
I
flip
would
them.
actually move Chelsea Grin up to B, just including just to take into consideration my recent concert, and this is going to be controversial coming from me. I think Chelsea Grin is better than Lorna Shore now.
Wow, that's coming. That's saying something coming from you, because
New Chelsea Grin fucks.
well,
Lorna
that's.
Shore New Lorna Shore is good, but now I'm starting to get to the point where they're blast beating too much.
I mean, I kind of got that vibe right away. That's
And
that's,
and
that's just me though.
and Chelsea Grin with Pablo on the drums, he has way more groove and his accents are more towards it. He does a lot of ghost notes, jumps around to a lot of cymbals. He
Hmm.
he's Pablo's more expressive on the kit than Austin is.
So basically, we're saying we should put Lorna Shore a tier down from A.
Actually, you can probably give Chelsea its old spot.
Wow.
Because I have not listened to a Lorna Shore song since November.
And that's when the album came out, wasn't it?
That was when I saw them in concert.
Oh yeah, right. That's
But
correct.
Chelsea Grin, I've had more motivation to listen to more of their stuff since the concert. I
Yeah.
didn't have that with Lorna Shore. I heard them in concert. I'm like, all right, I guess that's enough Lorna for now.
And see if now for those who are watching, if you haven't figured it out already, Lorna Shore was this guy's biggest, most favorite band at one point for like a
I
good
was simping.
a good few months. Like it was going to be the album of the century, pretty much. So for him to say this is actually crazy. This is like me saying Metallica should be D tier. Like that's actually kind of crazy, honestly, that you would say that.
But I mean, tomorrow after I get off work, we'll play Lorna and Chelsea side by side, so you can hear what I'm talking about.
All right, I I
Ch-
I will I
Chelsea
will
is
accept that.
Chelsea is way more headbangable than Lorna Shore.
All right, I will accept that. So I will force you to listen to Metallica at some point as long as you play Lorna Shore and Chelsea Grin. I think that's a fair trade.
Shit, you already know Pain Remains 1 was a good song.
Yeah, it is. It is.
But that's also the song they kind of blast beated on the least. I was surprised to hear because their choruses are usually always blast beated. And
And
when they went slow and symphonic and melodic for the chorus of that song, and kind of took me by surprise.
well, and this is just another unpopular opinion. I just feel like blast beats should just be kept to a minimum. Like I don't know. I just feel like it
It's
really,
and Pablo does that.
yeah. All right,
I
but
came to realize
anyways,
that.
so I think this is a really solid list overall.
We
And
literally have no idea who these next five bands are. We have no idea.
yeah, so we're just gonna end the video right here. Now, I actually
Oh
wanna.
wait, I know one of them.
Oh,
It's Amir.
which one is that?
Amir is the
Oh,
second
this
one.
this one.
I think that's Amir. It just didn't load all the way. I know nothing of Amir though, so I
Here,
guess just
D.
it's easier.
This is a long video already.
Yeah, Vended and Betraying the Martyrs. I can't even read the last one, and I don't know what the first one is. So yeah, I think we're good.
All right, so
We were fair. We weren't just straight hating on anything.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I would put Metallica in S just because I'm biased, but I won't just because.
Yeah,
Just to be
I gotta
fair.
do that fucking Periphery song list.
Yeah. So, anyways,